Hello and welcome to the first video on this channel. This is a channel about rising stars of football, and we are going to talk about the future stars that are going to light up the world of football. So first things first, this channel is called Rising Stars, and my name is Tom, and you're going to see a wide variety of players showcased here with their statistics and a few, say, in-depth reviews of their strengths and weaknesses. First player on our list is going to be the one and only Tammy Abraham. As you can see here, he's currently playing for Chelsea, and we're going to go in depth about his statistics and strengths and weaknesses in the current video. So his name is Tammy Abraham, as you can see on the picture. This is him. I'm going to talk about a bit about him. So his full name is Kevin Ogenetega Tamarebi Bakumo Abraham. He is born in London. His nationality is English, and he's also Nigerian. He's born on October 2nd, 1997, which at the time of recording makes him 21. As I've already said, his current club is Chelsea in English Premier Division. His former club was Aston Villa in Championship, where he was on loan, which we'll talk about in a few seconds. His position is central forward. He can play as a right forward or a left forward at times. So let's talk about a bit about his statistics. As showcased on Transfermarkt, and as I've seen him play in several friendlies throughout the preseason for Chelsea, and I've seen him in a few matches in Championship, what I can tell you about him is that he's 190 meters high. He's right-footed. He is contracted to Chelsea up until 2022, and he is currently valued at around 15 million euros. His former clubs include Aston Villa and Bristol City and Swansea, where he was on loan. When he was on loan last season in the Championship, he was absolutely amazing. He played in 37 games, scored 25 goals and 3 assists. He also played in the playoffs for Aston Villa, scoring 1 goal in 3 games, which makes him a pretty good and prolific scorer. In total, he has played 42 games throughout his career in seniors, scoring 26 goals and assisting 3, scoring a goal every 137 minutes, which is pretty good for a young player. He has also been through all the ranks in the English national team, playing in England under 18s, 5 times scoring 2 goals, England under 19s, 14 games scoring 5 goals, England under 21, played 26 games and scored 9 goals, and he also played for English national team, senior team, where he played 2 games. His debut came on November 10th, 2017. Okay, let's go to a bit of a preview of his abilities, in which you're going to see a short video of him playing in the Championship for Aston Villa. The original video you can see and watch by clicking the link below in the description. Here it's going to be just a preview, and I will just touch upon a few of the things he does really good. As you can see here, he has scored after a through pass when he put the ball through the ground, where he put a grounded ball to the back of the net, and you can see a through ball pass which he made for his teammate. In Aston Villa, I would say that he had a really good player to play off of, and that was Jack Grealish, who, as all of you probably know who are watching this video and who are watching Championship and English Premier Division, know that he is an extremely talented player. But this is a video about Tammy Abraham, and I will continue about him. I will go now to his strengths and weaknesses and things, right? In my opinion, things he is very good at, and things that he needs to improve as the years go by. So let's start with the first and most obvious thing, his physical prowess. Standing at 1.90 m, he is extremely tall for a footballer, especially since nowadays mainly shorter players thrive, like, and it's played 4-2-3-1 or 4-3-3, where players like Leo Messi, Eden Hazard, I don't know, Marco Reus, Christian Pulisic, they are all dominant. Leroy Sané, Kun Aguero, and other players. But his physical prowess makes him extremely good in hold-up play. What he does best, which is showcased in a few of his videos, and you can see if you watch Chelsea games, and if you have watched him in a few of these preseason matches and last season in Championship, what he does best is flicks. So he gets his back to the opponent's goal, he puts himself in front of the defender, and he draws a defender on him and opens up space behind him. So when the ball comes to him, like in Aston Villa it came from Jack Grealish, he just flicks the ball with his right or left foot, mostly with outside of his foot, and opens with that one-touch pass. He opens the space behind him for a midfielder that he played the 1-2 with, can put the ball into where wide players come in. In a few of his games in the preseason for Chelsea, what he did good was link up with Mason Mount. Mason Mount is an incredible player, and I will talk about him a bit more in my future videos. I hope that I'll make a video about Mason Mount. Because I absolutely love his style of play. Also Christian Pulisic and Willian and Pedro, they all can benefit from, and Callum Hudson-Odoi, let's not forget about him. I will also do a video about him, where they can benefit from him holding up play and drawing up defenders, so he can play like a little bit of a triangle where he gets the ball from midfield, probably from Jorginho, Kovacic, Ross Barkley, N'Golo Kante. What else is there? Oh man, so bad. I don't have any kind of paper to talk from. I talk mostly from my head, and I think this is the best, so I need to remember a few players. Ruben Loftus-Cheek, yes, he was the one. He's probably the most crucial one there, because he also is physically extremely strong player and technically extremely gifted. So when he puts a pass to Tammy Abraham can flick the ball in front of Ruben Loftus-Cheek or Jorginho or whoever will play. I suppose they will rotate under Frank Lampard like they did under Maurizio Sarri last season. And with that flick, as I've said, he opens up space behind him. In that space, Christian Pulisic, Mason Mount, Hudson-Odoi, and Pedro or Willian can run into and get into a scoring position. As showcased in a few of preseason friendlies, he did that extremely well. And that's why I think he can become Chelsea's new Didier Drogba. He does kind of remind people of Emmanuel Adebayor, but I wouldn't agree with that because Adebayor wasn't so unselfish. Adebayor was good with linking up play in Arsenal, but sometimes he wasn't that kind of a team player. While Didier Drogba, even though people remember him for scoring important goals in important matches, which he did, but what he did even better was open up play for his wingers and attacking midfielders to get into. His next strength is heading. He is extremely good in heading the ball. Maybe not so much in scoring goals with his head, but as he stands tall at 1.90 m, he is extremely athletic, he can jump, and he can put the ball down. Like, for instance, when there is a corner, and the corner goes, let's say, to the second post, he can jump there and put the ball down. Or there comes a cross, an early cross from, let's say, Marcos Alonso or Azpilicueta or, I don't know, Zappacosta. He can, with his physical ability and his heading, he can put the ball down to the other post, where a player like Mason Mount, I say him a lot of times in this video because I will do a video about him, because I absolutely adore that player, where he can come into and score a goal. Next, it is his shot power. As seen in this video and in many videos, he has got an extremely strong shot. Not the most precise one, but when he puts the laces behind the ball, that ball, if it's going inside of the goalposts, it's definitely going in. Like, especially now when there are when the balls are so I would say unpredictable for the goalkeepers, when he puts the laces behind the ball, if it goes inside the post, it's definitely going in. It needs a keeper with very strong arms that will bounce his ball and keep it out. And his other extremely important ability and strength is his penalties. He's extremely calm for a young player. He scores penalties like a seasoned veteran. Okay, let's talk about a bit of his weaknesses here now. As you can see on the screen, I have named this head in the grass. Why? Because I have seen him on a lot of occasions, especially now in the preseason, where he takes the ball and goes on a dribbling spree. So he tries to dribble 1, 2, 3 players. He does get through them mostly on his physical prowess because he's extremely strong for a young man. But what happens? He gets his head down. So he looks at the ball, he looks at the grass, he doesn't see around him. That is his main current weakness and something that he needs really to work on. I hope that Frank Lampard will work on the fact that Tammy Abraham needs to keep his head high, needs to see other players that are coming from the left or from the right when he's with his back to the goal, and he needs to link up that play. That, as I have said about that, in his strengths, in his hold-up play, He's excellent at that, and he needs to do that even more often and keep his head up high, not in the grass. So his eyes need to be on his teammates. Even if he doesn't score 20 plus goals a season, he's going to become an absolute legend in Chelsea if he does that. So if he scores like 15 goals a season and makes another 10, that is an absolute astonishing achievement in the Premier League, of course. Next weakness is his composure. His goal scoring record is great, but it's in the Championship. The Championship is a great league, but Premier League is something totally different. Premier League is the hardest league to play in the whole world. I know that people are going to now say La Liga is better, Serie A is better, Bundesliga, French League, Le Championnat, or whatever other league is. But that's not true. The fact that in Premiership the last team can be the first team, and it can get wild, as we have seen throughout the ages. I watch football since 1996, and I have watched all the leagues. My personal favorite is Serie A, but I deeply respect and I have a high opinion on Premier League, and I think it is the hardest league to play. And he needs to work on his composure. In the Premier League, there is not a lot of chances. Even though he plays in Chelsea, he doesn't play in, I don't know, with respect to other teams like Norwich or Bournemouth or teams like that. He needs to be more composed in front of the goal. His finishing, as I've said, is okay when it comes to shot power. He will use his strength, his physical prowess to put those laces behind the ball, and if it goes inside the goalposts, it's a certain goal. But most often what happens, he puts his laces behind the ball, he leans a bit back, and that ball goes over the bar. And that happens quite a lot. So he needs to be more composed, and he needs to put the ball on the ground. As seen in that short preview video, and as you can see in all of his videos you found on YouTube and all other video services, he is great when he puts the ball on the floor. So when he puts it on the grass, when he puts that shot near the posts, even if it's on the center of the goal, as long as it's on the ground, on the grass, that ball is going in. So that's what he needs to work on. I hope they'll work with that on him in Chelsea. And as I have said here, composure and finishing go hand to hand, so he needs to be more composed. He needs to finish the ball, maybe shoot more with inside of his foot and a little bit less with the laces behind the ball. So yeah, but that comes with age. So he's still a very young player. He has stepped up from Championship to Premier League, and I think that in a few years, not so much, maybe in 2 to 3 years, he'll become an absolute beast in front of the goal. Okay, let's go to the next one. His rating. So I have put up a rating which consists from 1 to 10 stars. And it's spread into 5 categories, with the 6th being overall. Here are the categories. First one is pace, second one is physicality, third is technique, fourth is shooting, fifth is defending or attacking, depending on where a player plays, and the last one is overall. So let's go through them a bit here, since this is the first video, and in the other ones they will be shorter because I have already explained it all here. So pace. In the pace category, I have put into the account players' overall speed, players' acceleration, and players' movement. So if he is fast on the ball, if he reacts quickly, if he can perform like short but quick pressing on the ball and stuff like that. Then on physicality, it goes with his physical ability, like how tall is someone, how is his muscle mass and stuff like that, and how can he shrug off other players, and how can he stay on the feet in a tackle. So like it is extremely important for a tall attacker like him to stay firm on the ground and not let like a shoulder to shoulder tackle knock him down so easily. Then it's technique. In technique I go over passing, then short passes, long passes, technique in receiving the ball, technique in flicks, in one-touch passes, and so on. Then shooting, which means shoot power and shot accuracy, also penalties and other set pieces. And then depending on whether I will review a defender, a midfielder, attacker, or a goalkeeper, I will base their ability on attacking or defending. For goalkeepers it's mostly defending, for attackers it's mostly attacking, for central defenders defending, for wide players defending and attacking, for midfielders defending and attacking, and of course for wingers also just mostly attacking. And overall is his overall rating. As I've said, it's 1 to 10 stars, so let's see how he performs in pace. In pace I would give him an 8 out of 10. Why? Well, let's put it short and easy. He's extremely fast, he has good starting speed, so his acceleration is great, his maximum speed is great, his reaction to flicks and closing down players is great, he is often first to the ball, and that is extremely important for an attacker that thrives to be a hold up attacker, the one that is mostly described as a target man. Then his physicality is 9 stars out of 10. For 10 out of 10 he needs maybe a year or two in the gym, maybe some better diet and stuff like that, because he is tall but he hasn't yet developed his muscle mass. And also sometimes he gets shrugged off the ball, like in a shoulder to shoulder tackle. Sometimes that, let's say maybe 2 out of 10 times he will get knocked down, which is great, but for his profile of player it can be even better. So he's highly rated here, but maybe a few tweaks here and there he'll be even better. For technique I have given him 7 out of 10. Well, why? First off, he gets a bit higher than maybe somebody has expected, or maybe even lower, because he is great in his one-touch pass, he's great in his flicks, but also at the same time he can, as I've said, keep his head down and try to go through players mostly on his strength, relying on his strength and not on his technical and dribbling ability. So a few times what happened, as I saw, was he tried to go past the player and he didn't use any kind of step over or any kind of ball roll or something like that, or Marseille roulette or anything like that, which is understandable because he's a very tall and strong player, but at the same time he cannot go always purely relying on strength. Like for an example, a striker, his proposition is let's say Mario Mandzukic from Croatia and Juventus, or let's say Karim Benzema from Real Madrid and France, or even Robert Lewandowski. He is quite tall and strong for a player from Poland and Bayern Munich. What they do good is they have those little ball rolls or back heel flips or back heel passes or something like that, where they receive the ball with their backs to the goal and then they just roll around the player or pass with their heels to other player, and that's where he needs to improve a bit. Also his passing can sometimes be a bit off, but I believe in training he will get to that level. His shooting is probably his worst, and I have rated it worst here. I have given him a 6 out of 10 stars, and I have explained that a few minutes earlier. He is great when it comes to shoot power, but when it comes to putting it accurately, that's where he lacks. He will come into, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 chances per match in Premier League, and I'm afraid he will score maybe 2 or 3 goals in one game, and then his inconsistency and constantly putting the laces behind the ball will make him go on a 3 to 4 games scoring drought where he won't score a thing. But that's where Frank Lampard and others in the Chelsea training and other Chelsea trainers need to work on with him. So he needs to. I mean, it is a bit for a young player. It's understandable that he won't be consistent, but he needs to be believed in. And if he will be believed in, and I hope he will, I think he will, because Frank Lampard is a great person and a great coach. I think he is, based on his last year performances in Derby County and his playing career, where he has been captain Chelsea. He has captained Chelsea for a long time, and West Ham before that. He is an absolutely great person and coach to develop his shooting ability and his inconsistency. And then defending or attacking, obviously he's an attacker, and I have given him an 8 out of 10 stars because his movement is great, his positioning is excellent, his hold-up play is brilliant, and he can only improve and get to all the 10 stars. And overall, I have given him an 8 out of 10. I think he's an excellent player, and he can even improve on this and become a world-class Premier League striker. So, what is my final verdict on Tammy Abraham? I believe that Tammy Abraham is a true wonder kid, and given the right coaching and the right approach, especially with the mindset of Frank Lampard and other people around him, with the help of players like Olivier Giroud and Michy Batshuayi, I think he has a healthy what's the word? I'm sorry, English is not my first language. I think he has a healthy rivalry for that central striker or central forward position, and I believe he should be played there. And throughout the season, this and all the other seasons that will come, he's going to become a really, really, really excellent world-class striker, and Chelsea should hang on to him. Also, regarding other Chelsea players, there will be a video on Mason Mount, Callum Hudson-Odoi, because they are excellent players. There will probably be a video on, what's his name? I forgot. Central defender that plays for Wales. But I will get to that later. For the next video, I will prepare you a player from Spain. You can guess in the comments below who that might be. He's an attacking midfielder, but about him in the next video. For now, I hope you have enjoyed it. All the commentaries and all the critics and positive critics and negative critics are welcomed. Also, if you want to recommend me a player, maybe one that is a bit more obscure, I will also do that. I will review your suggestions, and I will, throughout this series, I'll put one video each day, so 365 or 66 if it's a year with 29 days. In February, I will put on a player each day. Some a bit more obscure ones. I have an idea about one player from Romania that I will do a video about in a few days. and I think this is going to be a start of something extremely beautiful. I will also do the introduction video in which I will talk all about myself in a few quick lines and about what I want to do with this channel. Hope you enjoyed it. Leave a like, share and subscribe, and see you on in another video. Thank you for watching and goodbye.